The autumn sun shone brightly on Maple Street in November. The homes in this suburban area of the eastern United States were already adorned for Thanksgiving. Amanda Harris was returning from the pharmacy, heading to the elementary school to collect her 8-year-old son Jake. He was everything to her. "Mom, look!" Jake dashed up to his mother at the school gate, proudly displaying the certificate in his hand. "I won first place in the math contest." Amanda embraced her son. "That's fantastic. Let's show Grandma, too." Helen's house was just a 10-minute drive away and was also Amanda's childhood home. As they opened the front door, the sweet scent of freshly baked apple pie filled the air. "Jake, welcome home." Helen greeted her grandson warmly. "You worked hard at school today, didn't you?" "Grandma, I won first place in the math contest," Jake exclaimed. Helen placed her hand on her chest in surprise. "Oh my, how wonderful! That's my grandson." Just then, her sister Caroline entered from the back door. Being a hairdresser, she had come to pick up her son, Tommy, after work. Tommy was 7, 1 year younger than Jake. "Another certificate," Caroline said lightly. "Tommy is more skilled at sports." Amanda sensed something slightly off in her sister's tone, but she didn't show it. The family got along well, and their mother, Helen, always insisted, "I love both my daughters and both my grandsons equally." "Only 2 weeks until Thanksgiving," Helen said as she prepared tea in the kitchen. "Let's make it a special dinner this year. We'll all come together and strengthen our family ties." Amanda felt warmth in her heart from her mother's words. After her divorce, raising Jake alone would have been tough without this family support. Weekend dinners, care during sickness, and involvement in school events. Her mother and sister had always been there for her. "What does Jake want to eat?" Helen asked her grandson gently. "Steak." Jake's eyes sparkled. "Grandma's steak is the best in the world." "Exactly," Helen smiled. "Jake loves meat." Tommy, on the other hand, is quite a picky eater. "It's a bit frustrating." Caroline's expression darkened slightly. "Tommy's sensitive. He's particular about smells and tastes, especially sauces and marinades." "Kids can be like that," Amanda agreed, supporting her sister. "Jake was the same way when he was young." But Helen shook her head. "Jake was always a good boy who ate everything." "Amanda, it's because you raised him so well." That evening's dinner was peaceful as usual. Jake finished his homework and played video games with Tommy while the adults discussed Thanksgiving plans in the living room. "I'll handle everything this year, so don't worry," Helen told her daughters. "Amanda has work, and Caroline's busy too." "But let me help with something," Amanda offered. "It's fine. I love cooking, especially for my family," Helen said with a kind sparkle in her eyes. "I'll make a special sauce for Jake. That boy loves to try new flavors, doesn't he?" Amanda was touched by her mother's thoughtfulness. Indeed, Jake was curious about food and enjoyed trying new dishes. Her mother understood her grandson's personality so well. On the way home, Jake excitedly said from the back seat, "Mom, we really are a happy family, aren't we?" "Yes, we are," Amanda smiled. "Grandma and Aunt Caroline both care about us a lot." "I can't wait for Thanksgiving," Jake said, gazing out the window. Amanda felt the same anticipation. It's a special day for our whole family to gather. This year's Thanksgiving will surely create wonderful memories. She felt truly grateful for her mother's love and her sister's support. On Saturday morning, a week before Thanksgiving, Amanda received a cheerful call from her mother, Helen. "Let's go shopping together today. I want to make this year's Thanksgiving special. Both Jake and Tommy will love it." After completing her half-day shift at the pharmacy on Saturday, Amanda visited her mother's house with Jake. Caroline had already arrived, and Tommy was watching cartoons in front of the TV. "Let's get going," Helen said energetically, holding her shopping list. "This year, I'm really going all out. Turkey, ham, and everyone's favorite dishes." On the way to the local supermarket, Caroline sighed softly from the back seat. "I'm worried about Tommy," she said in a gentle tone. "He's been pickier about food lately, especially with meat dishes." Helen looked at her daughter through the rearview mirror. "In what way?" "He grimaces just from the smell. If there's sauce on it, he simply won't eat it," Caroline explained, sounding confused. "When I asked customers at the salon, they all said he'll grow out of it eventually." "Kids' taste buds are sensitive," Amanda reassured her sister. Jake was like that too when he was younger. But Jake is different, Helen interrupted. That boy enjoys everything. Just the other day, he tried a new sauce I made and said, "Grandma, this is delicious." Amanda felt uneasy at her mother's words. While Jake was indeed curious about food, there seemed to be something more in her mother's expression. At the supermarket's meat section, Helen asked the butcher detailed questions. "What's your best steak? I'm making a special dinner for my grandson." "How about this prime cut?" the clerk suggested. "It's high-quality meat, tender, and kids usually love it." "Perfect," Helen replied, smiling. "I'll take 2 portions." Caroline raised an eyebrow. 2 portions? But there are 4 kids, right? Jake and Tommy, plus the Miller kids from next door who you said were coming. "Oh, that's true," Helen said, appearing flustered. "But Tommy won't eat it anyway, and the Millers are small, so chicken nuggets would be better for them." On the way home, Amanda felt a hint of doubt about her mother's behavior. Her usually organized mother seemed a bit scattered today. "Mom, are you really okay handling everything by yourself?" Amanda asked, concerned. "I can take time off to help," Amanda offered. "It's really fine," Helen said with a smile. "I love cooking, especially for my family. No matter how long it takes, I don't mind at all." That evening, as Jake did his homework at Amanda's house, she pondered Thanksgiving preparations. She was genuinely grateful for her mother's caring nature. But recently, she had begun to notice subtle differences in how her mother treated her and her sister. On Sunday, Amanda returned to her mother's house to help with Thanksgiving decorations. The living room was already adorned with autumn decorations, and family photos were displayed on the mantelpiece. "These photos are beautiful," Amanda remarked, examining them. She noticed that many featured Caroline and Tommy, while there were fewer of her and Jake. "Caroline photographs so well," Helen commented. Being a hairdresser, she's always well-groomed. "Jake's photos are lovely too," Amanda pointed out, referencing a picture of her son receiving an award at school. "Of course they are," Helen agreed, but her gaze had shifted to another photo. "But look at Tommy's smile. Isn't he like an angel?" Amanda felt conflicted. Her mother loved both grandsons, but it seemed there were differences in the quality and quantity of that love. 3 days before Thanksgiving, Caroline called. "Amanda, I need to talk to Mom about something," she said, sounding anxious. "It's about Tommy's pickiness with food. I'm worried everyone will enjoy Thanksgiving dinner." "It'll be fine," Amanda reassured her sister. "We can prepare some kid-friendly food too. But Mom always insists the whole family should eat the same things, right?" Caroline replied, worried. "I'm concerned Tommy might create problems for everyone." That evening, Amanda called her mother. "Mom, Caroline's worried about Tommy's eating. If there's something he can't eat, could you please not scold him?" "Of course," Helen replied gently. "But kids sometimes claim they don't like things they can actually eat. Especially when adults prepare something special, they should at least give it a try." Amanda felt uneasy about her mother's words. "Something special?" she asked, sensing her mother's unease. "Oh, that's..." Helen hesitated. "I mean, food made with care should be shared by everyone, but I won't force anything." The day before Thanksgiving, Amanda visited her mother's house for the final preparations. The delightful aroma of cooking wafted from the kitchen, and Helen was bustling about happily. "I'm looking forward to tomorrow," Helen said with a smile. "Everyone gathering together, strengthening our family bonds. And they'll all get to taste my cooking." "Jake's excited too," Amanda replied. "He's especially looking forward to your special steak sauce." Helen's eyes sparkled oddly for a moment. "Yes, that special sauce. I made it just for Jake. He has an adventurous spirit, so I'm sure he'll love it." That night, Amanda spoke with Jake about Thanksgiving at home. "Mom, what kind of food will there be tomorrow?" Jake asked eagerly. "Grandma's putting her heart into it all. There'll be steak with special sauce, too." "Yay!" Jake exclaimed, bouncing with excitement. "I love Grandma's cooking." Amanda watched her son's innocent joy while trying to shake off the small unease she felt deep inside. On Thanksgiving morning, Amanda and Jake drove to her mother's house. The autumn sun was beautiful, and the trees were glowing gold. Jake was humming happily in the back seat. "It's going to be the best day ever, Mom." "Yes, it is," Amanda smiled. The vague anxiety she felt the night before had vanished in the bright morning light. When they arrived at Helen's house, Caroline and Tommy were already there. The living room was adorned with autumn decorations, and logs crackled in the fireplace. The savory scent of turkey wafted from the kitchen. "Amanda, Jake!" Helen greeted them warmly at the entrance. "Perfect timing. Dinner will be ready in about an hour. Can I help with anything?" "No, everything's ready," Helen replied with satisfaction. "Today I'm the star. I want everyone to taste my best cooking." In the living room, Caroline sat on the sofa, looking somewhat tense. Tommy was engrossed in his game console beside her. "Tommy, it's a special day today, so let's put the game away for later," Caroline urged her son. "But I'm not hungry yet," Tommy replied, still focused on the screen. "When you smell the food, I'm sure you'll get an appetite," Helen called from the kitchen. "I prepared special dishes today." At 3 p.m., dinner time finally arrived. The table was set with a grand turkey, mashed potatoes, cranberry sauce, and various side dishes. However, what caught Amanda's attention was one specially prepared plate. "This is steak I made just for Jake," Helen announced proudly. "I created a new sauce to fit his taste." The steak was generously covered in dark brown sauce. Compared to the other dishes, it had a distinctly unusual smell. "Wow, it looks delicious!" Jake's eyes lit up. "Thank you, Grandma." The whole family sat around the table, and Helen offered a prayer of gratitude. "We give thanks for sharing this meal with our beloved family today. May these family bonds last forever." Everyone echoed, "Amen." "Now everyone dig in," Helen said joyfully. "Jake, try that steak first. It's Grandma's masterpiece." Jake happily picked up his knife and fork, but as he brought his face closer to the steak, his expression shifted. "Mom," he said, looking puzzled, "it smells strange." "What?" Amanda was surprised. "What kind of smell?" Jake sniffed the steak again. "It smells like medicine or something. I don't want to eat it." The atmosphere at the table froze for a moment. Helen's face tensed, and Caroline suddenly looked pale. "Jake, don't be picky," Helen said in a somewhat stern tone. "Grandma made this especially for you." "The smell is just from cooking," Jake insisted. "But it really smells different. All the other food smells good, but this one doesn't." As a pharmacist, Amanda took note of her son's words. Kids have a more sensitive sense of smell than adults, and they can detect unusual odors easily. "Jake, you don't have to force yourself to eat," Amanda started to say. "No," Helen interrupted sharply. "After I made this with so much effort, you can't judge it without trying it." At that moment, Tommy reached out. "If you're not going to eat it, I will." The 7-year-old boy showed interest in the steak his cousin refused. "I like meat." "No!" Caroline shouted, panic in her voice. "Tommy, don't eat that." Tommy paused at his mother's unusual reaction. "Why not? I feel like eating meat today." "But you always say you don't like meat, right?" Caroline pleaded, "especially things with sauce on them." "But today's different," Tommy replied curiously. "I feel like eating it." Amanda observed her mother's and sister's odd reactions. Both looked pale and clearly agitated. "Grandma, why do you look so scared?" Jake asked innocently. "I don't look scared." Helen tried to smile, but it was forced. "I just don't want to waste the food I worked hard to make." "But it really smells strange," Jake persisted. "Mom, please smell it." Amanda leaned closer to her son's plate. Indeed, it had a noticeably different odor compared to the other dishes. From her pharmacist experience, it resembled an organic solvent, an artificial scent. "What exactly is in this sauce?" Amanda asked her mother. "It's a special recipe," Helen replied quickly. "I found it online. I used some new seasonings, so the smell might be a bit different." "I really don't want to eat it," Jake said, tears forming in his eyes. "Mom, can I eat something else?" At that moment, Tommy reached out again. "Then I'll eat it. It's wasteful." "No, Tommy." Caroline grabbed her son's hand. "You have chicken today. Eat that instead." "But I want to eat steak," Tommy whined. "Tommy, listen to your mother," Helen urged, panic creeping into her voice. Amanda sensed something was very wrong. Why are my mother and sister so desperately trying to stop Tommy from eating that steak? "Wait a minute," Amanda stood up. "Could you tell me the ingredients in this sauce? Since my son would be eating it, I'm concerned about allergies. Allergies? Helen seemed flustered. But Jake doesn't have any allergies, does he? Just to be safe, Amanda maintained calmly. As a pharmacist, I want to confirm the food's safety. Helen and Caroline exchanged worried glances. In that moment, Amanda felt certain that something was amiss. This special sauce had a hidden secret. The ingredients are just regular seasonings, Helen finally said, her voice strained. There's nothing to worry about. But Amanda's instincts as a pharmacist were alerting her. This smell, the situation, and my family's strange reactions indicate something very dangerous is about to happen. A heavy silence enveloped the dining table. Tommy reached out again. I'm really hungry, he said innocently. If Jake's not going to eat it, it's a waste. Tommy, no. Caroline clutched her son's wrist tightly. You have chicken today. I usually don't like meat, but today's different, Tommy insisted, trying to shake off his mother's grip. At that moment, Tommy's little hand grabbed the fork and brought a piece of steak to his mouth. No! Caroline and Helen shouted simultaneously, but it was too late. After Tommy swallowed a bite, he grimaced. It tastes strange. Tommy, spit it out right now. Caroline shook her son's shoulders frantically, but Tommy had already swallowed. Amanda stood up, concerned for her nephew's well-being. It's okay, Caroline. Just one bite. She tried to reassure her sister, but seeing Caroline's pale face, she lost her words. 10 minutes later, Tommy suddenly began to suffer, clutching his stomach. Mommy, my tummy hurts, he cried. It really hurts. Call an ambulance. Caroline screamed. Please, right now. Amanda quickly took out her phone and dialed 911. Helen sank into her chair, covering her face with her hands until the ambulance arrived. Tommy's condition deteriorated rapidly. He started vomiting, and his consciousness became foggy. What did he eat? A paramedic asked Caroline. Steak with sauce. Just one bite, Caroline replied through tears. What are the sauce ingredients? The paramedic turned to Helen, but she remained silent. At the hospital, the doctor conducted blood tests and examined Tommy's stomach contents. The results were alarming. High concentrations of organophosphate compounds have been detected in your child's system, the doctor said gravely. These are components found in pesticides and insecticides. They can cause serious damage to the brain. Caroline collapsed to the floor. How can this be? Amanda, with her pharmaceutical knowledge, grasped the severity of the situation. Doctor, what about treatment? We'll begin detoxification immediately, but damage to the brain has already occurred. Complete recovery may be difficult, the doctor explained. That night, Amanda found herself alone with her mother, Helen, in the hospital waiting room. Caroline stayed by her son's side. Mom, tell me the truth, Amanda said quietly. What was in that sauce? After a long silence, Helen finally spoke. Garden pesticide. Amanda froze. What are you saying? It was meant for Jake. I just wanted him to get a little sick and miss school for a while, Helen admitted, trembling. Then Tommy would get attention. Amanda's voice trembled with anger. So you tried to kill my son? I didn't mean to kill him, Helen protested. I just thought. Amanda cut her off. Family doesn't try to poison children. The next day, a police investigation began. Amanda assisted with a sauce analysis, using her pharmacist's expertise. The results were clear. High concentrations of organophosphate pesticides had been deliberately mixed in. Helen and Caroline were arrested on conspiracy charges. The interrogation revealed their twisted notion of maternal love. I love my daughter, Helen told the police. Caroline is my treasure. But Amanda's son was so exceptional that watching my daughter suffer from feelings of inferiority was painful. Caroline echoed her mother's sentiments. I love my son, but always being compared to Jake and seeing Tommy unhappy was unbearable. I thought if Jake were gone, Tommy would get attention. Ironically, their plan ended up sacrificing their most beloved son. We thought Tommy wouldn't touch it, Caroline explained through tears. That child always disliked meat. The doctor's diagnosis was severe. Tommy survived but suffered significant brain damage, intellectual disability, and reduced motor function, requiring lifelong care. At the trial, the prosecution detailed Helen's and Caroline's abnormal psychological state. The defendants attempted to harm an innocent child out of twisted maternal love and, as a result, turned their beloved child into someone with severe disabilities. The defense sought leniency, but the judge imposed a harsh sentence. I cannot comprehend how maternal love could lead to such a crime. The defendants' actions destroyed family bonds and caused serious harm to innocent children. Helen received 8 years in prison, while Caroline received 6. Caroline thought of her son every day. During Amanda's visits, she expressed her sorrow. I sacrificed my own beloved son, the one I loved most in the world, with my own hands. Amanda looked at her sister with mixed feelings. It's too late for regrets now. I know, Caroline cried. I'll carry this sin for the rest of my life. As a mother, I can't do anything for Tommy. Helen similarly recognized the weight of her actions. Her love for her grandson had ultimately harmed another grandson. I loved wrongly, she wrote in her prison diary. True love should be about protection, not harm. 3 years later, on Thanksgiving, Amanda spent time with Jake and new friends. They were at the home of Jake's classmate, Michael. His parents, David and Sarah Johnson, had supported Amanda during her toughest times. Amanda, would you like some wine? Sarah asked with a warm smile. I prepared a special California wine this year. Thank you, Amanda replied with a smile. Since that terrifying Thanksgiving 3 years ago, she had been cautious about food and drinks, but now she could enjoy meals safely with trusted people. At the table were the Johnson children, Michael and Emily, along with an elderly couple, the Wilsons. These people, though not related by blood, had become true family to Amanda and Jake. Jake, I hear you won the math contest again this year, Mrs. Wilson said kindly. Yes, Jake replied, slightly bashful. But I also want to work hard on science experiments. How wonderful! Sarah exclaimed genuinely. It's important to develop your talents. Amanda looked at her son with mixed emotions. Jake's excellence had once been a source of family jealousy, but now he was surrounded by people who genuinely supported his talents. After dinner, Amanda cleaned up in the kitchen with Sarah. Sometimes I think about that day, Amanda said softly. If Jake had eaten it. But he didn't. Sarah placed her hand on Amanda's shoulder. Children's instincts can be sharper than adults. Jake protected himself, Amanda acknowledged. Maybe because I had pharmaceutical knowledge. I could sense something was off. But Tommy, it's not your fault, Sarah asserted. You were a victim. Your concern for Tommy shows your kindness. Indeed, Amanda regularly checked on Tommy's condition. Caroline was serving her sentence, but Tommy had been taken in by Caroline's ex-husband and was getting specialized care. The brain damage was serious, but under his loving father's care, he continued treatment and rehabilitation as much as possible. Mom, we're happy, aren't we? Jake said that night after they returned home. The Johnson family are school teachers. Everyone cares about us. Yes, we are, Amanda hugged her son. True family isn't just about blood relations. What matters is how we care for and support one another. Did Grandma and Aunt Caroline really love us? Jake asked innocently. Amanda answered carefully. I think they loved us. But their way of loving was wrong. True love isn't about hurting someone. It's about wishing for their happiness. The next day, during her break at the pharmacy, Amanda read a letter from Caroline in prison. To Amanda, I think about my sins every day. Tommy is recovering little by little, but he's not the same as before. I must carry this sin for the rest of my life. I sincerely hope you and Jake find happiness. We loved wrongly, but you know what true love is. Amanda folded the letter. Her resentment toward her sister had lessened over time. What remained was profound sadness and a resolve to never let such a tragedy happen again. That evening, Amanda and Jake cooked dinner together. It was simple spaghetti and salad, but it was the finest meal for them. Mom, let's spend next year's Thanksgiving with the Johnson family too, Jake suggested. Let's do that, Amanda smiled. We should share time with people who truly care about us. Outside the window, the first snow began to fall gently. Amanda looked at her son and thought, while their blood family had betrayed them, their chosen family supported them. True family means those who love and care for each other. That night, Amanda gave thanks from the depths of her heart for the lessons learned through fear and betrayal, and for the bonds of the true family they had built.